Good afternoon and namaste. A very warm welcome to all the education officers and the teachers who are joining us via Zoom and YouTube channel. Today, we are going to have an elaborative discussion on the new education policy, the National Education Policy 2020 changes and impact. And our master trainer will guide all the teachers on the new education policy through simple examples in simple language, in English language today. So this webinar is being organized by the joint efforts of Samagra Siksha West Sikkim and Sri Aurobindo Society. And all the teachers and the education officers who are joining us via YouTube and Zoom platform, a very hearty welcome to each one of you. 2 days later, we have Teachers' Day. And from Sri Aurobindo Society, I want to wish each and every teacher who is listening to us via YouTube channel or through Zoom platform, a very happy Teachers' Day in advance to each one of you. तो आज इस वेबिनार में आप सभी का स्वागत है। राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 परिवर्तन एवं प्रभाव, यह विषय है आज के स्पेशल वेबिनार का, जो वेस्ट सिक्किम के शिक्षकों के लिए खास तौर से आयोजित किया गया है श्री औरोबिंदो सोसाइटी और समग्र शिक्षा वेस्ट सिक्किम के सम्मिलित प्रयासों से। आज इस वेबिनार में चर्चा परिचर्चा होगी, खुलकर बातचीत होगी इस राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के परिवर्तन एवं प्रभाव विषय पर। और हमारे मास्टर ट्रेनर सर श्री रजनीश पांडे सर आप सभी को इस नीति से अवगत कराएंगे, उन्मुख कराएंगे और इस नीति के बारे में खुलकर चर्चा परिचर्चा करेंगे सरल भाषा में, सरल उदाहरण के माध्यम से। Sri Aurobindo Society has taken up the initiative, the task of orienting each and every teacher from different parts of the country, different states of the country, different districts of the states on this new education policy. And we've been going forward day by day, organizing several webinars every day for different states. So, I would like to, with immense pleasure, I would like to let you know that we have done more than 130 webinars till date, and 4 state level webinars also. We've also had a very active participation by the teachers of Sikkim in the previous webinars, and we have also conducted a state level webinar where Mr. GP Upadhyay sir was the chief guest. तो जैसा मैंने पहले कहा कि एक राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर एक वेबिनार्स की श्रृंखला शुरू की गई है श्री औरोबिंदो सोसाइटी के द्वारा, ताकि देश भर के शिक्षकों को इस नीति से अवगत कराया जाए, उन्मुख कराया जाए, और जिला दर जिला, राज्य दर राज्य हम आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं और बातचीत होगी इस राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति पे। So I will be talking in English only because our master trainer also will be conducting this session in English, and with immense pleasure and honor, it is an honor for all of us that we have some special guests and chief guests with us in this special session organized for the teachers of West Sikkim. So for as special guest, we will have Mr. Karma Chopel Gyatso Bhutia, Additional Director, Samagra Siksha West Sikkim Sikkim. As special guest, we will have Mr. Padam Lal Subba, Deputy Director, Samagra Siksha West Sikkim Sikkim. Mr. Jeevan Chetri, Deputy Director, District Headquarter, Education Department, West Government of Sikkim. And Mr. Ashok Sharma, National Training Head, Rupantar Sri Aurobindo Society. Under the esteemed guidance and leadership of Mr. Ashok Sharma, our respected Ashok sir, we've been conducting these webinars successfully in different parts of the country, in different states of the country, in different districts of the states. So we've conducted successfully more than 130 webinars till date and 4 state level webinars. And today we are here in West Sikkim district. So here I would also like to thank our district trainer, sir, Mr. Sayandeep Som, whose efforts have paved way for organizing these webinars today, this special webinar for Sikkim in West Sikkim district. So now it is time for me to request our chief guest, Mr. Karma Chopel Gyatso Bhutia, Additional Director, Samagra Siksha, West Sikkim Sikkim, to address us all and share his views on the new education policy changes and impact. The policy has several key points, high points. We would like Sir to express his views and address us all. Mr. Karma Chopel Gyatso Bhutia.
Madam, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, Shika. Thank you, Shika, madam. Namaskar to Mr. Ashok, sir.
Sir, I'm really sorry to interrupt you in between. Sir, if it would be great if you could switch on your camera so that we can have a view of your. And
madam, there is something wrong with my thing here.
No problem, sir. You can address us then. Address us this way only. Please
madam,
go ahead, sir.
Wrong. I'm finding it difficult to get my camera on. There's something wrong here. I'll tell someone. In the meantime, I'll speak, madam.
Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
Because this I'm facing some difficulty here, but nonetheless, I'll go ahead.
Sir, your device has gone on mute. So I would request you to kindly unmute the device. And it is absolutely fine if your device is giving some issues. So please
is it okay
continue.
now, madam?
Yes, it's
is it
fine,
okay,
sir.
Madam?
Yes, sir, it is fine.
Respected Mr. Ashok, sir. Anyway, thank you, Shika, madam, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to address wide spectrum of teachers in West District, including the school heads. Respected Ashok, sir, thank you very much for being with us here. I'm sure with your presence here, it'll be inspiring for all of us officers and the members of the teaching fraternity and the respected school heads. Respected Ratish, sir, who I'm told is the resource person, I'm sure he'll be able to enlighten. I'm sure he'll be able to enlighten us on various aspects of the NEP. Madam, am I okay?
Yes, sir. You are very much audible, sir. We can hear you. Please continue.
And Mr. Saindeep, so you was in fact the main axis in which this whole program is revolved. He's been listening with me since the last few days, and I'd like to thank him for putting us for organizing the program and putting us on board today. So without wasting much time, this is the first webinar we are having on the NEP 2020, and I'm not very sure how many people have joined here. I suppose there's quite a number. Ms. Shika would like to let me know. I don't know how many have joined here.
So as of now, in the participants in Zoom platform, we have 36 people around, and the count will go up definitely. And for YouTube, I would definitely let you know in a bit. Okay.
Anyway, well, coming to the NEP, it's the first education policy of the 21st century that replaces the 34-year-old NEP policy that was last initiated in 1986 and subsequently modified in 1992. Well, it's built on the foundation pillars of affordability, accountability, accessibility, equality, and quality, and aligned to the 2030 agenda of the Sustainable Development Goals, which I'm sure all the teachers and all the respective school heads are aware of, with the twin purpose of making India vibrant, a knowledgeable society, and a global superpower, and by making both schools and college education both holistic, flexible, multidisciplinary, and suiting to the 21st century needs, and bringing out the unique characteristics of each student. Now, in this regard, I like to quote the Honorable President of India, Ramnath Kovind, who I like to quote him ad verbatim. He's just given 1-2 lines, but that itself gives a wonderful outlook of what NEP is. He says that the NEP aims to reorient the education system towards meeting the needs of the 21st century by achieving the twin objectives of inclusion and excellence. I think this well sums up everything. Now, insofar as NEP 2020 is concerned, uh, I've given you the vision more or less, and the main thing we'll have to focus on is the 8 principles in which the NEP revolves. I think Mr. Rajneesh will be speaking at length. The master resource person will be speaking at length in this aspect. But nonetheless, even at the cost of sounding repetitive, I just want to give the 8 principles so that so that all the listeners will be able to have a feel of it. One is the respect for diversity and local content. The other is equity and inclusion. The third is emphasis on understanding, that is conceptual clarity. And for this, the rote learning is to be eliminated. And the fourth is the community participation. The fifth is critical thinking and creativity. The sixth is use of technology. The seventh is emphasizing on the unique characteristics of children, and then the continuous review. Madam, I hope I'm audible.
You're very much audible, sir. Clearly audible.
Ma- well, well, any going to well, the main thing the NAP 2020 focuses will be a shift from the summative assessment to regular and formative assessment, which will be competency based. It will promote learning and development and test high order skills such as analysis, critical thinking, and conceptual clarity. Insofar as I know, I'm given to understand, and there'll be exams. Students will take exams in classes 3, 5, and 8 respectively. They will be board exams in class 10 and 12, but then it'll be designed in such a way that there'll be holistic development will be the main aim. And of course, as everybody I'm sure is aware of this fact that this NAP will replace the old structure of 10 plus 2, and it'll be replaced by 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, corresponding to the age group of 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14, and 14 to 18 years. In fact, as a matter of speaking, there'll be 12 years of schooling with 3 years of preschooling. Of course, there'll also be a reduction. Insofar as my limited knowledge is concerned, there'll also be a reduction in the curricula in a content where the core essentials will be emphasized on, and this will be done to enhance greater focus on experiential learning, to enhance essential learning and promote critical thinking. By the way, there'll be vocational education also, which will start from grade 6, which will include internships, and of course, a new national assessment center, PARAK, PARAKH, which is basically performance assessment review, analysis, and knowledge for holistic development, will also be set up uh, as a standard setting body. Now this is in a way the gist of the NEP 2020. I'm sure the master resource person will be talking at length and enlightening all the listeners on this. This is what the overview. This is the overview I'm giving through my limited understanding of the same. One very important thing is no child should be left out. No child should be left out. And then I will not be speaking at the higher education level, because I'm certain this will not come under our purview. But then higher education level, I'm told that there is a 4-year degree course with no MPhil, and the first year is a certificate course. The second is a diploma. The third is a diploma, and the third year is a certificate and a degree course, and fourth year is a degree and a certificate course. And then they have credit systems. So anytime a student can drop out, and then again rejoin, and then rejoin and continue his higher education. So this as a whole is what the NEP is basically about. My concern really with NEP is I'm thrilled with the intent, but my concern is with regard to the implementation. It's a huge challenge. I'm sure the teachers in all over Sikkim in general and West District in particular and the school in particular will rise to the occasion in implementing this. And I'm sure in the days to come, by 2030, whatever goals, objectives that we are to fulfill, I'm sure will be fulfilled. I'm positive and I'm optimistic that the school heads that we have in the district and the teachers that we have in the district and their dedication, and with their dedication and commitment level, I'm sure they will be able to rise to the occasion and fulfill all the goals and the objectives of the NEP 2020. I want to speak much, but then because of time constraints, and then there are special guests after me, so I just kind of wrap it up here. Before I wrap it up, I'd like to request all the respected school heads, all the teachers to kindly note the important points, and if need be, raise them during the interaction, if any, that will in the course of the course in the course of the conversation today, in the course of the webinar today. With this, I'd like to thank Aurobindo Society for organizing the program for West District particularly. Last time there was a state level thing. I could not attend because of network issues. Fortunately, today I've been able to attend, though there are some kind of minor hiccups, but nonetheless, I'd like to thank Aurobindo Society once again. Mr. Ashok sir, Mr. Rajneesh sir, Mr. Sayandeep, and Ms. Shika for initiating this webinar. Once again, I'd like to welcome on board all Mr. Ashok sir, Mr. Rajneesh, Mr. Sayandeep, and Ms. Shika, and all the respected school heads and all the respected teachers to this webinar. Thank you, and it was a great honor and privilege speaking here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed an honor and a pleasure to listen to you. You said that hiccups are, there were minor hiccups, but it's important to know that minor hiccups like these do happen in online medium, and it's just part of the online. So we are very thankful that your audio could be connected, and we are very grateful to you that you connected with us through this webinar. Thank you so much for sharing your views in a consolidated manner on the new education policy.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. As sir said that our master trainer, Rajneesh Pandey, sir, he will be talking at length or speaking at length on the new education policy. And sir has also said that he's shared his views on the key points of the policy, on how important key points are the competency-based education. The new education policy talks about competency-based education. It promotes it, about technology, also character building. All the aspects sir has touched through this new education policy. I would like to say that with thrust on experiential learning, the new education policy aims at fostering holistic development of the students. This new education policy also talks about making learning joyful and engaging in order to motivate the students to pursue education with zeal and zest. There is also a very huge focus on children's foundational literacy and numeracy, and the new 5+3+3+4 structure in the new education policy also aims at promoting a better overall learning, development, and well-being of the students. All these points have also been addressed by the honorable chief guests also. So here I would like to quote a saying by former president Sri APJ Abdul Kalam Azad sir. He has said that the purpose of education is to make good human beings with skills and expertise. Enlightened human beings can be created by the teachers. True, very true. Our respected sir has said, Sri APJ Abdul Kalam Azad sir, he said that how empowered teachers can only lead our country and take the country forward and make it a well-established nation. The new irrigation policy revolves around several points, the main points like equality, access, affordability, and quality of education. So with this quote of Sri APJ Abdul Kalam sir, who is one of the greatest teachers, I believe, and he's given us some great quotes also, and preached the true meaning of education through his efforts and initiatives, through his work. So with this quote, I would like to move forward in this webinar flow. And it's time for me to invite Mr. Jeevan Chetri, Deputy Director, District Headquarter, Education Department, West, Government of Sikkim. So kindly address us all and express your views on the new education policy 2020 changes and impact, the topic that we have today. Yes. A very warm welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Respected Chief Guest, Sir Karma Chopal Gashavotia, Assistant Director, Department of Education, West, Government of Sikkim. Respected Deputy Director, Sir Padam Dal Subbai, Education West. Very respected Sir Ashok Sharma, National Training Head, Rupantar, attached to Sri Aurobindo Society, and most importantly, my dear participants, respected school heads, and my beloved teachers. At the outset of this webinar on National Education Policy 2020, first and foremost, with deep sense of respect and honor, I express my special gratitude and thanks to Sri Aurobindo Society for their untiring efforts and services in the field of education. Before moving to today's agenda, let me take this opportunity to wish you all, the August teachers, a very happy Teachers' Day 2021. In my point of view, National Education Policy 2020 is utmost critical. There is a paradigm shift to attain qualitative education as per the time, situation, and factor. So it needs a lot of exercises. Now 10+2 pattern has been changed, and 5+3+3+4 has been introduced. So children will spend 5 years in the fundamental stage, 3 years in the preparatory stage, and 3 years in the middle stage, and 4 years in the second stage. NEP emphasis on mother tongue till class 5. Activity-based learning below class 2, introduction of subjects between classes 3 to 5, coding and internship in class 6. Multidisciplinary, flexible choice of subject in classes 9 to 12. Students can resume degree courses after dropping out without starting afresh. Certificate after first year, diploma after second, and degree post final year, MPhil has been discontinued. Some of the major highlights of NEP is as follows. Schooling to begin from the age of 3 years, mother tongue to be initiated as medium instruction, a single overarching body of higher education, separate between subject streams to be blurred. Duration of the 4-year undergraduate program, and no more dropouts. At the end, thank you, Mr. Sandeep, District Coordinator, Sir Aurobindo Society, for joining us, and thank you so much to ma'am also. I don't want to take much more time because I have to listen, I have to learn a lot. I'll be taking this leave with this. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a pleasure to listen to you. Thank you so much for your address, sir.
Thank you.
Sir has shared his views on the new education policy, and I would like to say that both the chief guest and the special guest have prepared a groundwork for our master trainer, sir, and they have expressed their views on the highlights of the key education policy, National Education Policy 2020, and it will definitely help our master trainer Rajneesh Pandey, sir, to take the webinar forward. And thank you so much, sir, for your address, Mr. Jeevan.
Welcome, ma'am.
Mr. Jeevan Chetri, sir. So as we move forward, Ashok sir is busy in a meeting right now in a very in another webinar, and if possible we'll get to hear him later during the webinar. And so is Mr. Padam Lal Subba sir. He will also be joining us a little later during the webinar. Then we'll have the honor of listening to him, and I'll request Rajneesh sir, Mr. Rajneesh Pandey sir, our master trainer today, to kindly take the webinar forward and express and explain the new education policy in detail. The policy talks about inclusion in a broader sense and constructively addresses our national need. India, I can say, is on the path of the progress, and this new education policy has shown us the direction for transforming education. So as we say that Aristotle has said that the fruits of education, the roots of education is bitter, but the fruit is sweet. So it's efforts only that can make this fruit sweeter, and we can taste the sweet taste of the fruit only through our joint efforts, collaborative efforts. So let's make this effort of successful implementation of the new education policy, and we can begin with the webinar today. Mr. Rajneesh sir.
Thank you very much, Shikha ma'am. Thank you very much. And warm regards to the beautiful people from a beautiful Sikkim. I would like to extend my warm welcome and my regards to Sri Karma Chopel Gyatso Bhudia sir ji. He is Additional Director, SS West Sikkim Sikkim. My warm regards and I welcome Mr. Padamlal Subbaji. He is Deputy Director, SS West Sikkim Sikkim. My warm regards and I would like to welcome Mr. Jeevan Prakash Chetri ji. He is Deputy Director, District Headquarters, Education Department, West Sikkim Sikkim. Welcome to all respected teachers from Sikkim who have joined us through YouTube. And I would like to extend my greetings and warm regards to all the respected people who have joined through any media in this webinar. So before starting our webinar, I would like to request all of the respected teachers and all the people who have joined through YouTube that let us feel as if we are not connected through a virtual media. Rather, we are connected, we are just listening to this, attending this webinar face to face. So for that, I would request all the respected teachers and participants to please keep on communicating through the chat box in YouTube. Whatever question you have, whatever issues you have, kindly post your questions in this chat box, and I'll take this as a blessing from you. And I would try to solve these queries, and I would continue with all those queries. So today we will be discussing about National Education Policy 2020. So there have been a lot of views about National Education Policy. We have been hearing a lot of things about National Education Policy since these last 2 years. So once the government announced the launching of this National Education Policy, we started getting a lot of feedbacks, a lot of impressions in the newspaper. And we have been reading all these impressions, all these feedbacks in the newspaper. So in fact, if we talk about National Education Policy, it's almost 66-page document. So talking about this 66-page document, I would try to simplify it in as simple words as I can, so that we can get into the main points which is actually required for us. So today we will be discussing about National Education Policy in length. So whatever query you have, I would request you all to please post your queries and questions in the chat box. So before starting this National Education Policy, let us know that why this National Education Policy was required. 34 years. 34 years back, there was a policy. Then after 34 years, why did this national policy was required? So I would like to share some of the data with you. In fact, those data will give you an answer that why national education policy is required. And as I will move on into my webinar, I'll keep on clarifying those data, that how we are going to resolve those issues mentioned in the data. So talking about UDAS data. So as we go by the UDAS data 2016 and 2017, so UDAS data says that 28% of the primary schools and 14.8% of upper primary school have less than 30 students. Just think about it. 28% primary school and 14.8% upper primary school have less than 30 students. And if we talk about an average student size, so average of from class 1 till class 8, the average size is 14 students, or rather today 6 students. So just think about it. Now talking about single teacher school. So in our country, we have 1,08,017 single teacher school. Just think. 1,08,017 single teacher school, and in that about 85,743 primary school which have only single teachers. Just think about it. Now moving on to our third data, it is said that 85% of the mental development of a kid happens before he attains age of 6. So 85% of his mental development happens before his 6 years of age. And when these kids get to us, they reach to us when they are of 6 years. So we have only 15% of his mental development to take care of. So think about it, that we are just taking care of a 15% of his mental development. Now moving on to our next data, there are almost 1,640 plus minus dialects spoken in India, or more than that. And talking about languages, there are more than 750 languages. But if we say official language or recognized languages, there are only 22 languages that are recognized in a constitution. So just think, the kids who spoke in these 1640 dialects and whose language is not recognized, are they not eligible to get education? Think about it. Now talking about literacy rate, so our country holds a literacy rate of only 74%. So 26% of the people in India are illiterate. So talking about 26%, with a country where population is almost 150 crores, 26% stands up to somewhere around 27 or 28 crores. So we talk about some of the European countries. Major European countries have a total population of about 27 crores. So just think that we are keeping a country within a country illiterate. Just think, a country within a country illiterate, almost 27%, 27 crores. So think about it. Now moving on to our gross enrollment ratio. Gross enrollment ratio is the data where if the student is studying in class 4, the student who moves on to class 5. So if we talk about that, is called gross enrollment ratio. So if we talk about the data that was in the year 2019-20, it stands at 27.1%. That suppose there are 100 students in class 4, so only 27 or 28 students will move on to class 5. Remaining students will drop out due to some reason or the other. Now, these are some of the data which I wanted to share with you. So as we move on into our national education policy, we would get to know that why this national education policy was required and how we are going to resolve these issues, these problems, which I just discussed with you in the data which I just shared. So I'll again and again request all my respected officials, teachers to please stay with us, stay till the end, and we'll keep on sharing with you all the data and all the details of national education policy in the simplest form we can. So moving forward with our national education policy, I hope you would like this entire webinar. I hope all the queries which you have, we will be in a position to resolve those queries. I hope you will be in a position to, in fact, transform these knowledge into a real life implementations. So let's move on to National Education Policy 2020. So if we talk about National Education Policy, so before that, I would like to introduce you Sri Aurobindo Society. So before introducing Sri Aurobindo Society, I would like to introduce you one of the quote of Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo used to say that education doesn't mean what we acquire from outside. Education means what we give from inside. Whatever comes from inside to outside is actually an education. So everyone who is born on this earth is imbibed with knowledge, imbibed with education. But as a teacher, as a guru, we help them transform this knowledge, this nascent knowledge, into the real knowledge. So this is education. So now talking about Sri Aurobindo Society, the name itself has society. So we work for the society and the medium is education. So Sri Aurobindo Society started in the year 1960. So in the year 1960 it started, and our head office is located in Puducherry, which previously was called as Pondicherry. So since 1960, we have been working towards individual perfection. We work towards making people individually perfect because everyone is perfect at their own end. We work towards collective consciousness. We work towards social transformation, and we also work towards unity in diversity. Now, talking about Sri Aurobindo Society, Indian government has recognized us as an institute of national importance. Now, what is Institute of National Importance? Institute of National Importance.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Padam sir has joined.
Okay.
I'll request to please invite him.
Sure. Thank you very much, sir. I would request Padam sir to please say something regarding this webinar. Thank you very much. Over to you, Padam sir. Sir, please.
I think his audio is not connected.
Padam sir, your audio is not connected, sir. Padam sir, am I audible? Padam sir, am I audible? I think, sir, Padam sir, your audio is not audible, sir. I cannot still hear Padam sir. Padam sir, can you hear me?
Rajneesh, please continue. I'll update once his audio is connected. Sir. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Please update me, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. So, as we were saying, that Sri Aurobindo Society has been recognized as an institute of national importance. So, what is national importance? So, any institute that contributes towards the development of a nation through their work are recognized as an institute of national importance. And there are only 4 such institutes in India which is recognized as institute of national importance. One of the institute is IIT, that is Indian Institute of Technology. You must have heard about it. So Indian Institute of Technology is recognized as an institute of national importance because they basically are contributing through research in technology. Now our next institute is IIM, that is Indian Institute of Management Studies. So they are contributing towards the research in management field. Now talking about the third, that is AIIMS, that is All India Institute of Medical Studies. So they are contributing towards the development of a country through their research in medical field. And
Rajneesh, I'm sorry to interrupt you again. Sir, audio has been connected. You can invite. Thank you.
Okay, sir. I would request respected Padam sir to please share your feedback for this webinar. Thank you very much. Padam sir, over to you, sir. Padam sir, am I audible, sir? Respected Padam sir, I would invite you to please speak something, say something in this webinar. And please, it will be my honor to invite you, sir. Padam sir, am I audible, sir? Padam sir, I would again invite you, sir. Your mic is mute. Please unmute it. Padam sir, am I audible, sir?
I think there is some technical error. We'll try later. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Thanks a lot, sir. So in fact, as I was saying, thank you, respected sirs. I mean, it is showing I mean, my respected officials are so much considerate that they want to interact, they want to participate. Thank you very much, respected officials. Thanks a lot, and thanks a lot to the teachers who are patiently hearing to me. Thanks a lot. So talking about Institute of National Importance, so the fourth institute which has been recognized as Institute of National Importance is Sri Aurobindo Society. So Sri Aurobindo Society is recognized as Institute of National Importance because we deal with you. I mean, rather to say, we deal with teachers. We deal with all the people who are into education sector. And we basically deal with you. We basically work towards improving the quality of education in the country. So in fact, that is the reason why Government of India has recognized us as the Institute of National Importance. Now, moving on to what we have been doing since last 60 years. So since last 16 years, we have been working in bringing change, empowerment, and deeper values in the various fields, especially into education, leadership, and management, and also talking about Indian culture and rural development. In fact, education is the core point of our fundamental work. So we basically focus on education because we feel that a teacher has the potential to, in fact, create a nation, create a society, create a universe. In fact, that is said in Hindi scriptures that Brahma created this universe, and Brahma is said to be the greatest teacher. So in fact, we all are Brahma. So we as a teacher are Brahma. So we have the same potential to create a universe, to create a society, to create a universe. And we deal with you teachers. If you want to know more of us, you can visit our website, that is www.aurosociety.org. I would like to repeat again, www.aurosociety.org. Now talking about our program, in fact, which was the flagship program of Sri Aurobindo Society. And in fact, Sikkim has also contributed a lot into this flagship program. The program was named as ZIIEI. I mean to say that Zero Investment Innovation for Education Initiative. So in this program, what we do, we basically consider your innovations, which is of zero cost, and we present it across the country. We present it to the teachers across the country. So talking about zero investment means you are not going to spend a single penny out of your pocket. Rather, you are going to utilize the resources which are available to you in the school. So if you are utilizing those resources without spending a single penny, that comes into zero investment. Now talking about innovation means any idea that can be old or that can be new. If we bring it in a very new form, new shape, so that is called as innovation. And the new innovation which brings a positive change in a society, in a school, among our colleagues, that is called innovation. And for education, obviously, you know that we deal with education. I mean, every teachers deal with education. So any of your idea which is bringing a positive change in the educational system, rather it is in the society or in the colleague, within the colleagues or in the school. So that is said to be zero investment innovation for education initiative. So what we do, we collect your ideas, we request you to submit your ideas. Once you submit your ideas, what we do, we shortlist this, and if your idea gets selected, then we help you getting a reward at a national platform, as we have been doing since last 7-8 years. So we have helped a lot of teachers to get national award in the national platform. So this ZIIEI or Zero Investment Innovation for Education initiative have 4 conditions. If any of our idea have fulfills these 4 conditions, then it can be considered as Zero Investment Innovation for Education initiative. The first condition is that the innovative idea must be based on zero cost. Why it must be based on zero cost? Because if it is based on zero cost, so anywhere across the country, in any situation, any teacher can implement that without spending a single penny. Second is, if my idea is bringing a positive change into a positive development, into the community, into the school, among our colleagues, so that is an innovative idea. Now third, if we have the innovative idea, so the idea, if it is in our mind, that would work. If that is already implemented, then that can be considered as ZIIEI. And if that is implemented, that must be supported with any document or any sort of documentary proof. Now, talking about our 4th condition, that the same condition that our idea should be bringing a positive change in the society. So in fact, we started this journey from Uttar Pradesh. And from Uttar Pradesh, if we talk about our milestone, Sri Aurobindo Society's ZII-EI program, with your due support, with your blessing, has become Asia's largest training program. With your blessing and your support, under which we have been able to train about 22 lakh plus teachers on zero investment innovative practices. And we have collected your ideas. And out of those ideas, we have launched about 54 innovative practice booklets. You must all be aware about it because Sikkim have also launched 2 innovative booklets. And so in these 5 years, we have covered about 28 states and 8 union territories. And we have launched innovative booklets from these states and these union territories. So we are not only restricted to government schools only, we are also extended our ideas to the private schools. So the private schools, the private school teachers have also in fact participated into these zero investment innovation. They have contributed their ideas and they have also collected the ideas given by the government school teachers, and they have implemented it successfully in their respective schools. So in fact, talking about district-wise, so Bahraich became the first district of any state which have its own innovative practice booklet. So I feel that West Sikkim will also become such district which will be having its own innovative practice booklet. And talking about how many teachers we have recognized, so we have recognized a total of 1,551 teachers. And in fact, we have recognized them at national level in IIT Delhi. And in fact, in the grand presence of ex-education minister, Mr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishankji, we have in fact awarded those teachers. So in fact, this was something about Sri Aurobindo Society and our ZII-EI program. So now moving forward to our National Education Policy 2020, which you have been eagerly waiting for. So as our respected chief guests, special guests, they in fact said a lot about National Education Policy. They threw light on this National Education Policy, which have become very easier for me now to connect all those dots so that I can explain the entire thing in a simplest form. So in fact, what is the expected outcome of National Education Policy? If any policy is formed, obviously we do expect some outcome. So what is the outcome expected from National Education Policy? So first is the outcome is universalization of access from early childhood care and education to secondary. That means that everyone will be connected with education in spite of their age, in spite of their class. So everyone will be brought into the framework of education. This is the first outcome, expected outcome of National Education Policy. As we will move on, we will describe the entire thing. Now talking about the second expected outcome, it is to ensure equity and inclusion. So equity and inclusion means we are also National Education Policy is also targeting on the required, on the whatever the students will be requiring, they will be given education as per their requirement so that they give us result as per our requirement. And inclusion means that even disabled students will also be given an opportunity to participate in the regular schooling system. Third expected outcome is to reinstate 2 crore out of the school children. So this is the target that almost 2 crores and more students will again be brought into the framework of this educational system. Now talking about sustainable development goal, it's a global goal where all the major countries, they meet together and they come out to a conclusion that all the students will be trained in a way, will be educated in a way that they become global citizens. So in fact, we have also through our National Education Policy, we also plan to fulfill these sustainable development goals by 2030. Apart from this, we are also National Education Policy is also expecting to improve quality and achievement of learning outcome, rather to say foundational literacy and numeracy. I mean, I'll explain it in detail. Foundational literacy and numeracy, so that every kid could, without any burden, could write, read, as well as they can understand. National education policy is also concentrating on 21st century skills, which is very important. So every chapter of a book will be connected with 21st century skill, so that the kids with every chapter will get to know about these 21st century skills, because we are into 21st century. And without knowing the skills, we won't be able to sustain in this 21st century. So it is very important. Next, it is the expected outcome is resource sharing within school complexes. So this is the next outcome, that there will be resource sharing among the school complexes. I'll go on defining everything one by one. Next is effective governance, separation of power and common norms. This is the next expectation. Then language barrier in learning to be overcome. So there won't be any language barrier if we want to learn something. And then public and private school education to have common standard. So there will be no separation between private and government institutions. Now moving forward, before we start on with the national education policy, let's deep dive into the history of our country. Let's dive into the modern history and get to know from where did our first education policy came into existence. So our country got independence in the year 1947, 15th August 1957. So we got independence, we became a country. India became a country, because before that we were just a colony. So colony that was ruled by the Britishers. Colony that was ruled mentally, that was ruled physically, that was ruled emotionally, that was ruled spiritually by the Britishers. So we were just a mere colony, where our mentality was of slavery mentality. We were slaves through our mindset as well. So when we got our freedom, so the biggest challenge was, if we need to get a status of a country, we need to transform the mindset of the people. So if we need to transform the mindset of our people, we need to bring them out of the slavery mindset. So to bring them out of the slavery mindset, what we need to do? We need to change the entire structure of the education system, because education is the only tool through which we can transform the entire nation. So keeping this in mind, Dr. Sarvapalli, Dr. Radhakrishnan, he came out with a commission that was in the year 1948-49. They named it University Education Commission, which is also called as Radhakrishnan Education Commission, which came in the year 1948-49. But that was just a commission. 4 years apart from it, in the year 1952-53, another commission came into existence. This time secondary was introduced into education system. So Secondary Education Commission, or to say Mudaliar Commission, we also call it as Mudaliar Commission, that came into the year 1952-53. You can see the difference from the first commission to the second commission. There is a gap of 4 years. But from second till third, you can see that the gap is constantly increasing. So the third commission came into existence in the year 1964-66 under Dr. D.S. Kothari. So you can see that there is a leap of 12 years among second and third. And on the second commission, rather third commission, came our first policy that was named as National Policy on Education. That was in the year 1968. So this was our first policy on education. Then in 1976, no commission or no policy came. Rather, there was a constitutional amendment, that was 42nd constitutional amendment in the year 1976, where education was put into the concurrent list. That means education was moved from state level to the central level. Then 1976, and post that in 1986, you can see there is a gap of almost 18 years. You can see from first to second, 4 years, second to third, 12 years, and third to fourth, 18 years. In 1986, our next policy came, second policy came, which was named as National Policy on Education, 1986. Then in 1992, there was a little modification in the 1986 policy. And then there was no work done in this education policy at all, whereas the entire thing was changing throughout these years. There has been geographical change, there have been status change, there have been entire change in the entire world. Everything was changing, education sector was changing, but our country was staying with the old policy which came into the year 1986. So a task was given to, in fact, TSR Subramaniam to draft a document stating the loopholes into the education system which India is currently running on. So he came out with a drafted or 49-page draft in the year 2016. So on his draft, another committee was formed that was called as Dr. K. Kasturirangan Committee. So Dr. K. Kasturirangan Committee came out with a report in the year 31st May 2019. So on his report, the government makes its first blueprint on national education policy. So national education policy's first draft was put on the website of the government, where in fact every people, even from the grassroots level, were invited to share their feedback, share their suggestions, so that the policy, when it will be implemented, it can bring the desired result. So as per the suggestions, as per the feedback from the people across the hues of these countries, we came out with this National Education Policy 2020. So now National Education Policy is no more on the table, rather National Education Policy is now on the ground, is on the track. So we are ready to implement this National Education Policy. Now, talking about the vision. So what is the vision of National Education Policy? Everything must be having a vision. So National Education Policy have a vision. So what is the vision? The most strong vision of the National Education Policy is to make India a global knowledge superpower. India will be a lighthouse of knowledge across the globe. Now, if you say that maybe we will be needing a lot of time, then let me say this thing, that in fact, India has always been a lighthouse of knowledge, global superpower since our ancient time. We proudly say that we used to have Nalanda University, Vikramshila University, Takshashila University, where people from across the globe used to come and get knowledge in different subjects, in different languages, in different religions. They used to come and get the knowledge in different theologies. So in fact, India was a superpower. So now again, National Education Policy wants to reinstate that image of a global knowledge superpower. So how we are planning to do that? So National Education Policy plans to do that is by, in fact, grooming the kids into a structure where the kid will learn East as well as West. Or rather to say, the kid will get a mixture of traditional knowledge of India, traditional knowledge of the great India rather, with the Western modern knowledge. So people will be knowing Chanakya, kids will also be knowing Amartya Sen. If kids will be knowing Aryabhat, so kids will also be knowing, in fact, APJ Abdul Kalam. So in fact, this is the target, that every kid should know our great traditional knowledge as well as the modern knowledge. So if every kid is taught in that way, obviously the time won't be far away when we will become global knowledge superpower. Talking about what the policy is also planning, the policy is also planning that every citizen of India should be a proud citizen. Every citizen of India should always say that, yes, I am proud to be an Indian. So if I am saying that I'm proud to be an Indian, that doesn't reinstate the love of India within us. That love of India, that faith for India should be from within. So how that can be done? If the kids are taught all those things from their early childhood, obviously this feeling will be reinstated within them. So they will get to know about the fundamental duties as well. Apart from this, in fact, kids will be taught how to become a global citizen. So they will be given every sort of modern knowledge, modern pedagogy, so that they can sustain in this 21st century. So their life will be very much flexible in terms of knowledge. So now talking about key principles of national education policy. So what are the key principles of national education policy? The vision is great. So obviously the implementation should be also great. So what are the key principles? So I'm going step by step so that you know that how we are planning to become global knowledge superpower. So the first thing is respect for diversity and local context. So talking about diversity and local context. So obviously, in fact, normally it happens that if I am a person from a certain state, so most probably many of the times it happens that even I am not aware about my state as a whole. So now every of our textbook will be having that local context, so that if I stay in Sikkim, if I'm a resident of Sikkim, I should know that Sikkim have Gurung, Limbu, Magar, Lepcha, Sikkimese. These are the languages spoken in Sikkim. Sikkim have different traditional dances. Sikkim have different traditional festivals. Sikkim boasts of all these things. Sikkim is one of the cleanest city in India. So in fact, we should know it. So once we start knowing our own state, it will become easier for us to connect it with other state as well. So this is said to be near to far approach, where we get to know ourselves, and then we slowly we move on to know the other states. So every textbook will be having a place in the place of local context in them. Now talking about equity. So what does equity means? So there is a big difference between equality and equity. Equality means that suppose I have 5 students in my class. So I said that I need to give them shoes. So I came out, I brought them shoes for each child. I gave them every child one shoe, and every shoe was of 5 size. Every shoe size was 5. But the students in my class cannot be having 5 in their shoe size. Someone can be having 4 in the shoe size. Someone can be having 6 in the shoe size. So the kid who have 4, the shoe will fall from their leg. The kid whose shoe size is 6, so what will happen? The shoe will cut his leg. Only the person whose leg size is 5 can easily wear that shoe. I am happy that I provided every kid a shoe. This is called equality. While what is equity? What I am doing is I am bringing shoe as per the requirement of the kids. I gave everyone shoe, but as per their requirement, so that they can easily wear those shoes. So this is called equity, that we will give them as per their requirement. Now moving on to inclusion. So it is said that when disabled, or not, I won't say disabled, rather it is specially challenged person or specially abled person. So this specially abled person, it is said in the research that when they mixed with the normal boys, not normal kids, even their knowledge also improves. So in fact, they are also bringing into the framework of education. Third important thing is that community participation. So in fact, now community is going to play a very major role in the education system. So what will happen? That community will be motivated. The community will be motivated, will be invited to participate into the school. So these work will be done by the volunteers. Volunteers can be anyone. They can be NYKs, they can be NCC people, they can be NSS people, they can be NGOs people, they can be the teachers. So what will be their role? They will be motivating the community to participate in the school. So once they participate in the school, they will be motivated to send their kids to the school. So once the kids start coming to the school, our main problem which I was talking, that some of the school have kids less than 6. So that problem will be resolved because community will be more motivated towards education. Next, talking about technology. So now technology, since it's 21st century. So now technology has to play a very vital role in the entire development. So if we talk about technology and its role, so it is said that now technology will be developed in the mother tongue, in the languages which will be easier for us to understand. So it is said that learning, that nothing can stop our learning, neither the language, neither our disability. Nothing can stop us from learning. So these type of technology will be introduced. Next, talking about conceptual understanding. So up till now, the kids were motivated to go after rote method. I mean, they used to wrote the things, they used to memorize the thing, and they used to, rather to say, vomit that things on the paper. So kids used to study just to give the examinations. So if my intention is just to study for the examination, I am not gaining the actual knowledge. Because as per Swami Vivekananda, he used to say that knowledge doesn't mean that I just need mark sheets. Knowledge doesn't mean gaining mark sheets, gaining qualification. No. Knowledge means to learn something. So if I am learning something to learn something, that is actual knowledge. So now the focus is on conceptual understanding, where I will learn to understand something which I can really implement in the real life situation. Now moving on to next principle, that is unique capabilities. So talking about unique capabilities, I would like to share with you a small description. There is a breed of deer that is called as musk deer. Those musk deer have the musk in their navel. So they roam throughout the forest searching for those musk. Because wherever they go, the scent of the musk hits their nostril. And they keep on searching for that musk throughout the forest. It keeps on searching and searching. It dies searching. It was born searching for that musk. It died searching for the musk, but it couldn't find it. But we humans, or to rather to say Homo sapiens, are blessed with the blessing of teachers. We are blessed with the individuals who are called as teacher, who are called as guru, who actually show us that we have the musk. We are the musk carrying deer. So they show us that we are the musk carrying deer. So that transforms us into Mahendra Singh Dhoni, that transforms us into Lata Mangeshkar, that transforms us into APJ Abdul Kalam, that transforms us into different personalities. Because it is our gurus, our teachers who shows us all these things. In fact, I can see here Bhana ma'am, Dupraj Thapa sir, Punima ma'am, Salim sir. Thank you very much, Chandra ma'am. Thank you very much, respected teachers, for your participation. Please, I would request you to keep participating. So, in fact, we are blessed with those gurus. So here it is saying that NEP is focusing on bringing out the unique capability of every kid, because everyone is born with that musk. Everyone is born with that unique capability. So it is we as a guru whose main responsibility is to find that musk and show it to the musk carrying person. So once we recognize these unique capabilities, obviously our kids will develop into that personalities. Next, talking about critical thinking and creativity. So it is said that critical thinking, every kid that is 0 years in age also have the idea of critical thinking within them. Just think about it. A kid of 0 years, when they know who is carrying them on their lap, whether the lap is of their mother, whether the lap is of their father, or whether the lap is of someone else. So they behave in that way. So what is that? That is actually critical thinking. As the kid keeps on growing, that critical thing starts getting vanishing, because now they are taught the compulsive based education. So now the focus is to reinstate that critical thinking among the kids so that they can think critically. And apart from this, we also should concentrate on developing creativity among the kids. Talking about creativity, you must have seen that when we give project works to our students, so there may be 10 students in our class, but we give them the project, we gave the same instruction, they are using the same material, but some kid gets 9 out of 10, some kid gets 7 out of 10, some kid gets 4 out of 10. Why? Why such difference? Because the difference was not in the paper, not in the instruction, difference was in their creativity. So now the work is on to improve the creativity of every child that is getting connected with education. Next is continuous review. Continuous review can be weekly, can be daily, can be fortnightly, or can be monthly. So if we review the kids, at least we can know that who is facing what problem and who needs improvement in what sector. So if we can do it on continuous basis, we can bring a great change in that kid. Now moving forward, so a very interesting concept, as a respected special guest sir was saying about the structure. A very beautiful structure. So now talking about structure, why do we need structure? So suppose I am a family of 2 persons, me and my wife. So obviously I need a house, a flat of 2 BHK or 1 BHK, because we can easily accommodate there. When my family starts increasing, what happens that I need to change the structure of my flat. I need to move on to a bigger structure to accommodate my family into this. So why the new structure has been made? So that we can accommodate all the new pedagogies into that. Initially, up till now, we were studying in a structure that was 10 plus 2. Now 10 plus 2, before that was from class 1 till class 10 and 11 and 12. This was 2 structure. Before class 1, there was obviously pre-primary, or in Hindi that is said as Bal Vatika, or like that. So kids used to go there, but they were basically like babysitting. So that was basically babysitting, where kids used to get some nutrition, where kids used to go there to spend their time. No education, no learning. And when kids used to move on to class 1, they were taught in the same way we used to taught the kids of class 12. So the pattern was all the same. I used to teach the student of class 1 in the way I used to teach the student of class 5. I used to teach the student of class 12 in the way I used to teach the student of class 5. Why? Why I am teaching in the same pattern? Whereas if we talk about health drink for our physical need, what we do? Most of us have kids, small kids at our home. So when we go and buy food drink for them, what happens? Health drink like Pediasure or Horlicks, there is age specified on that drink. 2 plus, 3 plus, 5 plus, 7 plus. So what we do? We select the health drink as per the age. So this is for the physical requirement. But what about the mental requirement? Why we are giving health drink of the same age to the every student? Why the health drink which I am giving to a kid who is 6 years old to a kid who is 14 years old? Why the health drink is remaining the same if it is for their brain? So now the education system, now the structure which has now been created is in fact a very scientific structure, and it comes with lot of positive changes. So now the new structure is divided into 4 parts, that is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Because every stage, the mentality of the kid will be different. So we are treating every stage as a different. So for the first 5 years, once the kid gets to age 3, once the kid is of age 3, he will be moved to a pre-primary school. And from age 3 till age 8, he will be into the 5-year structure. So that 5-year structure will be having 3 years of his pre-primary schooling and 2 years of his primary schooling. So in this 5 years, I am again repeating, 3 years of his pre-primary and 2 years of his primary. So in fact, when talking about this 3 and 2, what he will be getting. So that 5-year stage is called as foundational stage. So this foundational stage, the kids will be having multi-level play, activity-based learning. See here the word I am using, learning. So here kids will be getting activity-based learning, because learning, as it is said by Kavi Guru Rabindranath Tagore, that a kid don't start learning when he gets to the school. A kid start learning from the moment he is born. He starts learning a lot of things, how people clap, how to react to that, what to do in this situation. So here what we are doing is, here the kid will be moved to learning through activity based. So there will be a lot of activity, and through that kid will be introduced to the education. And that will be multi-level, that will be play based. With game, the kid will be learning a lot of things. So this is for the first 5 years. That is from pre-primary till class 2. Age is 3 till age 8. Once the kids get into the age 8, he will be moved into the preparatory stage. That is from class 3 till class 5. Age of the kid will be from age 8 till age 8. 3 years, class 3 to class 5. So in this preparatory stage, play will be there, activity based will be there, but here the new thing which will introduce will be discovery and interactive classroom. So now the kid will, now he is 8 years in age. Now his mental development has developed. Now he's ready to discover new things. Now he's ready to participate in the school. Now he's ready to interact with his teachers. So now these two will be used as a pedagogy to teach that student. That will be discovery, play-based, activity-based, and interactive classroom learning. As the kid becomes 11 years, so from 11 till 14 years in age, he will be moved to middle stage. So middle age is from class 6 till class 8. I'm again repeating, he is 11 to 14. He will be moved to class 6 till class 8. That is 3 years. So that age will be called as middle stage. So in middle stage, what new will be introduced? So in middle stage, there will be experiential learning. Now kids will be learning by experiencing. Kids will be learning new things by experiencing. I would like to share an example here that when we were kids, we were struggling to stand up. Our guardians, our fathers, our mothers, they were standing there as our motivator, our guide. They used to clap, they used to motivate us, and then we used to stand. We have fallen a lot of times, but at last we stood up. And then we started walking. Again, in this process, we fall many times. But ultimately, we walked, we run, and today we have reached to that age where we are training our small kids into walking, running, and all these things. How did that happen? That happened because we experienced it. So now, as per, if we say that as per the ancient philosophers, it is said that if we do something by learning, it won't be effective. If we learn something by doing, that will be more effective. So now the kids will be learning concept in science, mathematics, arts, social science, and humanities in an experiential way. They will be experiencing those things and they will be learning all these things in an experiential way. So think about the understanding which they will be having. Once the kid get to the age of 14, so from 14 till age 18, he will be moved into secondary stage from class 9 till class 12. So here there is subdivision. One is 9 and 10, 11, second is 11 and 12. But it is into a secondary stage. So here what will happen? The kid will be into multidisciplinary studies. The kid will be developing critical thinking and kid will be having choice of subject. So they can select any subject combination. So there won't be compulsion in selecting. There won't be forced selection of subjects. They will be having freedom in selection of subjects. So if they get freedom in selection of subject, we get freedom in fact, the learning outcome which we are expecting. So this is called secondary stage. So just think how National Education Policies planning is treating every age of kid as different and how with new and latest pedagogy, every age of kids are treated. So just think what is the new face of India. Now talking about, as I was saying about universal access from early childhood care and education. That is ECCE, early childhood care and education. So very interestingly, in fact, our curriculum is divided into two parts in early childhood care and education. So the two parts, we have one first part is from age 3 to 6 years and second part is from 6 to 8 years. That means first part curriculum, it will be for the pre-primary students and second part will be for the primary students, but they will come under this 5-year stage. So first part will be in the pre-primary and second part will be for the primary 1 and 2. So these are the two groups. Now moving on to Balvatika or pre-primary students. So if we talk about pre-primary student, then every child younger than 5 years in age, if they are planning to get admission into class 1, they have to attend foundational class, so that if they have missed something which was taught in the pre-primary stage, at least they will be prepared to adjust in the primary stage. Now moving on to universal access. So every kid who will be moved into pre-primary stage or Balvatika, so what they will be given free, safe, high quality nutrition and high quality learning and education. So there will be high quality provision for every kid who is entering into this pre-primary stage. So now even the structure, even the resources in the pre-primary school will be transformed. So they will be getting a world-class resources in the pre-primary stage so that their mental development is of world-class. And talking about their curriculum will be flexible, will be multi-level. Their curriculum will be play-based, activity-based and inquiry-based learning, so that the more they inquire, the more they will learn. Because if we must have seen that our kids inquire a lot and we keep on answering them. So once we inquire, once we stop inquiring, our learning stops. So all this will be implemented by a group of people, high-notch officials. They will be from Ministry of Education, Women and Child Development, Health and Family Welfare, and Tribal Affairs. They will be the body who will be looking after this ECCE or early childhood care and education. Now, as I said, early childhood care and education, so there must be some framework for it, because I just now described about giving them world-class things. But what about framework? Excuse me. So what about the new framework? So the framework which is designed for them, here I can see Chandra ma'am, thank you ma'am, Yashoda ma'am, thank you ma'am, Lerip sir, thank you very much, Dupra sir, thank you very much, Bhana ma'am, thank you very much, respected teachers, thank you very much for a blessing. So here talking about the framework. So what type of framework will be there? So the framework is being designed by NCERT. Now NCERT is designing the framework whose name is NCPFECE. If I talk about the full form, it's National Curricular and Pedagogical Framework for Early Childhood Education. So this is the framework designed by NCERT. And interestingly, I would like to share you here that this framework have two parts. One part is for the kids who are 0 to 3 years. And second part is for the kids who are 3 to 8 years. And again, in second part, there is subdivision that is from 3 to 6 years and 6 to 8 years. But in the first part, it is from 0 to 3 years. Now, obviously, you will ask me that you didn't say about 0 to 3 years. So 0 to 3 years, the kids are not going to attend the school. So what they will do? So these kids, their parents will be motivated by the volunteers I mentioned earlier. There will be a lot of volunteers working in the field, connecting the society to the school, to the learning. These volunteers will be motivating, will be taking this framework to the parents. So this framework will be having play-based learning, story-based learning for the kids, so that parents in their local way in a very simple way can introduce basic education to their kids who are in the age group 0 to 3 years. In the basic group. So when the parents, because parents are always the first guru. And if we don't look after these gurus, then obviously the kids' knowledge won't expand like that. So now these parents will look after their kids when they are from 0 to 3 years. Once these kids attain the age of 3, he will be moved to school. Now their next parents, guardian are the teachers, their gurus. Now the kids, teachers will take care of them till they reach their secondary school. Now in this framework, NCERT is putting on the best practices and the best research collected from across the globe. All the best pedagogy, best research, best practices, these are being collected and these are being put into this framework so that the kids can get world-class knowledge, world-class education. So now, what will be there in the framework? So in this framework, if we talk about this framework will be having alphabets, languages, numbers, counting, colors, shapes, indoor and outdoor games, puzzles, logical thinking, problem solving, drawing, painting, visual arts, craft, drama, puppetry, music, and movement. Just imagine our kids, as I said, that their mental development develops 85% by the age they attain 6 years in age. So what we are doing, we are giving them all these things before they attain the age of 6. So in fact, what we are expecting every child to be brilliant to contribute in making our country the global knowledge superpower. So these kids are just the beginning. So they will be taught in such a frameworks. Post that, any kid who is moving on to class 1, they will be attending a 3-month play-based school preparatory module. So 1 month play-based school preparatory module, what will happen is that every kid will learn, will understand how to adjust in the primary section. So once they are mentally adjusted into that, they can easily learn. Now moving forward, these are some of the things. Now moving forward, so what we are planning to achieve, by providing such a framework to the kids. So as research says that every kid have about 70,000 synapses in their brain. Synapses are the small dots or small points which helps them think, which help them do any movement, which help them do different activities. So these are the small dots. So what we are doing is we are actually connecting those dots so that our kids become geniuses. So what are the things which is developing in their mind? So the first thing which is developing in their mind is kids are developing curiosity. Kids, there is a development of curiosity among the kids. Kids are always curious. But now this is said as another pattern and we are also developing curiosity. Second thing which we are planning to develop, NAP, through these modules is logical thinking and problem solving. These pre-primary kids will be logically thinking, will be problem solving through puzzles and these type of games. Then arts, craft and music. It is said that art, craft and music, whoever knows art, craft or music, actually their mental development is always 2 times faster than the person who doesn't know any one of these. In fact, that is the reason in all ancient scriptures or in all idols, all god and goddesses from different religions, we can see that everyone holds one instrument, one musical instrument in their hand. Why? Because research also says that if we know art, craft and music, our mental development is faster than a normal kid. So in fact, we are also activating that synapses. Then fourth is relationship with nature. In this 21st century, we are destroying our nature very slowly. We are not concerned about our nature. In fact, we don't know that if nature is not there, we cannot survive. So now these future generation who will be looking after these natures, who are the future of our country. Actually, if they are connected with nature from their early childhood, at least they will respect the nature and they will keep, they will keep this nature safe. They will keep our environment safe. Next, kids are also introduced colors, shapes, alphabets, and numbers. Apart from this, kids are also learning teamwork and collaboration. So from early childhood, they are learning the meaning of teamwork and collaboration. They are learning how to collaborate and do something. Apart from this, kids are also learning play-based and discovery-based learning. So with game, with discovery, kids are learning new things every time. You must have seen that whatever game the kids play, they always have some learning into it, attached with it. So they are learning through these games. Then kids are also learning ethics. Just imagine, kids are learning ethics before they are attaining age 6. Kids are also learning self-identity. They are learning what they are good at. And there is also a development of etiquette, behavior, and emotional development among kids. So just imagine, these are the areas of the brain which NEP is focusing, trying to focus, so that these kids will develop into the genius one. Now, NEP is also focusing on reduction in curriculum. So why reduction in curriculum? So the reduction in curriculum, the reason being that there are lot of unnecessary things in our books. So actually, now what NEP is trying to do is they are trying to put only that thing which is essential for that kid. If kid of class 1 need to know addition, then his addition and subtraction of 2 digits, at least his book will be having addition of 2 digits and subtraction of 2 digits, not anything more than that. So if the curriculum stick to its core essential, what is required, the pages of the book will get reduced. Once the pages of the book get reduced, obviously the burden of the bag gets reduced. And once the burden of the bag gets reduced, the mental burden of the kids get reduced. So if they don't have a mental burden, so what will happen? Our kids can learn freely. Next, talking about, so now there will be interactive classroom. So interactive classes means in every class, there will be interaction. There will be active participation of teacher and learner. So both of them will interact. Both of them will be motivated to interact, ask questions, give answers, search answers, so that every class, every kid participate, and in their participation, they learn something new. Next, moving on to critical thinking. Thank you very much, Larip sir. Thank you, Yashoda ma'am. Thank you, Chandrakala ma'am. Thank you, Bhana ma'am. Thank you very much, respected teachers, for your kind responses. Thank you very much. Now, what about critical thinking? So, as I said, that critical thinking is most important ingredient for anyone's mind development. So now every kid will be, they will be taught critical thinking. Their critical thinking will be developed so that they can inquire, they can discover, and they can learn every day. They can learn every day. They can learn every small thing, which they can actually implement into their real life. Because learning doesn't mean that we memorize anything and we write on the paper. Learning means learning is only completed if we can utilize that, implement that in our real life situation. So that is called learning. So now the kids' learning will be connected with their real life situations. As I said, next is experiential learning. So now the kids will be learning by doing, not doing by learning. Learning by doing. So now kids will be doing by themselves and they will be learning. From every moment of them, they will be doing and they will be learning. Right. See what a drastic change is happening in our country. So just imagine our country is moving to such a pace in a beautiful place. Next, moving on to our integration of subject. So now there will be competency-based education. Now what is competency? So competency, I'll just give you an example. you must have seen that in every state, there are more than lakh of kids playing cricket. In every neighborhood, you can find 10, 12 kids having bat and ball in their hand and they are playing cricket. But in every state, there are cricket clubs training the kids. But there are only 18 players who get a chance to enter into Indian team. And among them also, there are only 11 players who get a chance to get into the ground. So just imagine playing, the people who are playing, who have knowledge, who have skill, are more than lakhs. But actually, who are actually implementing those things successfully are only 18. So actually that is called competency. So now the focus is on competency-based education. Everyone is born with a competency of their own. So now the focus will be to improve that competency that kid is good at, so that he can select his career as per his competency. Moving on to our next part, that is development of scientific temper. So now what is development of scientific temper? If I am doing anything, I should know what is wrong and what is right within it. That is called scientific temper. I cannot accept anything because it is like that only. I should at least do research. So now if kids start developing those scientific temper among them, so what is happening around them, at least they can think, they can decide, and then they can do what is right. Next is emphasis on digital literacy. So now we are into 21st century, a century where with a click of your finger, with a touch of our finger, we can order food that can come to our home. With a touch of our finger, what we are doing? We are getting a vehicle at our home. With a touch of our finger, we are transferring money instantly. With a touch of our finger, we are receiving money instantly. With a touch of a finger, we are connecting here. Just imagine. So this is digital age. So in digital age, I would like to share a research. India is among top 10 countries in smartphone usage. Just imagine, India is among top 10 countries among smartphone usage. But India's digital literacy is only 4.1% to 7%. So just imagine, we are among top smartphone user, but we are not digitally literate. But now the emphasis is on digital literacy. Everyone will be digitally literate. We will be knowing the right usage of digital media. Right. So now consultation is also on this. Next is integration of subject. So talking about integration of subject, here I can see Chandrakala ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Lalit sir, thank you very much. So here talking about integration of subjects. So what is integration of subject? Suppose I have 5 pens. I have 5 pens. Now if I ask you that take 5 pens and just throw that in the air and try to catch those 5 pens, what will happen? You can only catch 2 or 3 of the pens. 2 pens will fall down. So just imagine this is happening with every kid. He came out from math class, he entered into the science class. He came out from science class, he entered into the language class. So how can we expect that the kid is going to catch the entire 5 pens? So the best way is that I tie those 5 pens and then I throw it in the air. Now I can catch all the 5 pens. In the same way, integration of subject is saying that what we can do is we can integrate 2 subjects, we can mix 2 subjects, and then we can produce to the students. So maths and language, science and maths, we can integrate as our new pedagogy, as per our customization. If we integrate that thing and we give it to the students, it will be easier for them to grab it, and it will be easier for them to learn it. So now it is working on integration of subject. So there are a lot of pedagogies through which you can integrate subject. We are giving continuous training across the country, even for the Sikkim teachers. If any Sikkim teacher now want to attend a session, you can contact your district education office and you can just request them so that they can nominate you for a trainings. Now, talking about no silos among subjects and learning. So there will be no hard separation among subjects or learning. So initially it used to happen that school means there was compulsion based education. Why I am good in English, I am good in science, I am good in studies, that means I am great, I am successful. If I am good in sports, that is having no value. Why? Everyone is not destined to become Abdul Kalam. Everyone is not destined to become Santosh Shivan. Anyone can be Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and anyone can be Lata Mangeshkar, anyone can be Amitabh Bachchan. So if everyone have their own potentiality, so why such deviation between the subject? So now there will be no hard separation. If any kid is into curricular, if any kid is into extracurricular or co-curricular, everyone will be given the same respect. Every kid can have the flexibility of combining subjects, curricular and extracurricular, and they can perform better into that. Because after all, they have to make career on their choice, on their competency. We cannot dictate anyone about their career, because this is after all their own talent. So this is one thing. Next is there is promotion of multilingual teaching. So suppose in Siliguri, since Siliguri is near to Sikkim, so I am talking about Siliguri. So suppose in Siliguri there is a place, there is an area where there are a lot of Bhutia speaking kids. Now if there are a lot of Bhutia speaking kids, but in Sikkim, suppose there is an area where there is lot of Bengali speaking kids. So now what will happen is, now there will be a bilateral agreement between two states, and these two states will be sending teachers as per the languages into these states. So now the Bhutia speaking teacher can go into Siliguri and they can easily teach the students. And the Bengali speaker teacher can go into Sikkim and they can easily teach the students. So there is, and this also a provision where there is also that you can teach students across the country. Now moving forward, so now mental and physical health and well-being. So now it has been mandatory for every learner, for every kid to know about their health, because health is wealth. So it is mandatory. It is very important. Why I am saying this thing? Because you must be aware that India is called as the diabetes capital of the world due to the highest number of diabetes patients in India. So India is called the diabetes capital of the world because we have compromised with our health at some point of time. Now every kid will be mandatory for them to know about nutrition, to know about physical education, to know about fitness, to know about wellness, to know about sports. It will be mandatory for them. Every kid will be getting annual health checkup so that we can know what complexities they have in their health. Now every school will be having counselor, specially trained counselors, highly qualified counselors in every school complexes who will be counseling the teachers if they have any issues. They will be counseling the students. They will be counseling the guardians of the students. So here what is happening, as it is said, that school is a temple of education. And temple means a place where we go for mental peace, for physical blessings, for monetary blessings. Wherever we go to temple, we said, oh God, give me health. Oh God, please give me money. Oh God, give me peace of mind. So if we are comparing it with a school, so school is also temple of education. So when we are looking about physical, so once the kid will be having this health checkup, so this boon is completed. Oh God, give me health. You are getting health checkup annually. Moving on to mental peace. So counselors will be there. Oh God, give me health, peace of mind. Counselors will be there. They will be giving you the peace of mind by counseling with you. Now next, oh God, give me, there are a lot of books. So give me some resource, some space from this bag. So what will happen? Now their bag will be, the weight of their bag will be light now because there will be less book. Oh God, I am disabled. Please help me out. No one is looking at me. Okay, no issues. There is a provision for disabled kids. Oh God, give me good health. So now what is happening? I am giving you mandatory skills into health, wellness, sports, everything. So now in this temple, whatever you wish, you will get it. So now it will become a real temple. So if we train our kids into these things, a time will come when India will become health capital of the world, not diabetes capital of the world. Maybe in tomorrow's future, we can see that India is the health capital of the world because our kids never compromise with their health, because we gave them what we never got at our early stage. Now, moving on to pedagogies. So there are n number of pedagogies, that is researched topics that is being used across the globe. So when NCERT is planning to bring that into our school framework, so what are some of them? I am just explaining some of them. One is experiential learning. So experiential learning is learning something by doing. That is experiential learning. The more we do something, the more we learn of it. Second is integrated pedagogy. As I said, integration of subjects. I can integrate music and mathematics. Right. As there was mathematics and rhymes. Every one of you must have heard 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4, stay the door, close the door. This was the rhyme. Where with rhymes, we used to learn mathematics, 1, 2, 3, 4 calculations. So wasn't there rhyming with mathematics? So now these pedagogy, which we have been taught in our early stage, now that will be introduced to the kids. So there will be integration of music, storytelling, digital media into learning, so that we can select any pedagogy as per our need and we can learn. Third is kids will be motivated for peer-to-peer tutoring. So peer-to-peer tutoring have two parts. One part is when I'm learning with my colleague. So if we are sharing information, sharing details, sharing knowledge among ourselves, so that is called peer-to-peer tutoring, right? And it is seen that most of the time, if I learn from my own friend, that becomes more clear to me, right? So here peer-to-peer tutoring is also developing. Apart from this, in a macro level, if I talk about macro level, for peer-to-peer tutoring, it is said that the volunteers, any volunteer, any person can adopt a kid, one or two kids, and he cannot adoption as a full, but only he can adopt to teach that kid. So if we teach that kid by adopting him, at least that kid will be bright. His career will be bright. So just think about it. Now next is equal weightage. So as I said, there will be equal weightage to either you go for curricular or you go for sports or co-curricular. There will be equal weightage. I am bringing laurels to my school by getting good in mathematics, by participating in mathematics Olympiad and winning. And you are bringing laurels to your school by participating in district level cricket match and winning the man of the match prize. So both of us are bringing laurels to our school. So where there is division. Then in every year, there will be 10 days of bagless day, where kids won't be carrying their bags. Rather, they will be going to school in a free hand and they will be learning something vocational. And then there will be use and integration of technology from class 6 to class 12. So kids will be introduced to technology, kids will be introduced to digital media as they move on to class 6. Now moving on forward. Now talking about India's future and India's leadership role in upcoming field. As I said, we are into 21st century. Now this 21st century, everyone must know that India, the highest number of scientists in NASA are of Indian breed. Highest number of doctors in American and European countries are Indians. All the top CEOs of the global companies, whether it's Microsoft or it's Google or Facebook, are Indians. So Indians are ruling all those arenas. In spite of that, why we are not playing the leadership role? We are not playing the leadership role because India, these people only stands up to only 0.02% of our entire population. So if a country's 0.02% population is only in that position, that doesn't make that country the world leader. So to become a world leader, at least we have to reach to 10%. So now for that, kids will be introduced different things from their early childhood. Number one is computational thinking. So throughout the school years, there will be emphasis on computational thinking, mathematical thinking, and problem solving. So kids, because mathematics is everywhere. If we are good in mathematics, that means we are good in computers, we are good in science. So mathematical thinking and problem solving will be there. So that through puzzles, through games, we will be becoming mathematical competency. I would like to share a research here that among the entire globe, only 45% of the people are mathematically competent and 55% are mathematically incompetent. So just imagine that they are mathematically incompetent. So now what we are doing is we are trying to make India mathematical competent. Then even there is an introduction of contemporary subject in school curriculum. Now contemporary subject means what? Coding. If you go coding classes for your kid, what is the charge? The charge is they normally take 3 classes in a week. Every class charge them around 1500 rupees. So in a week, you shell out almost 5,000 rupees for coding class, and that is for 6 months. The same is for artificial intelligence. This generation is of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is such a thing which learns by itself. Like, if you must have seen that when we buy from Flipkart or Amazon, what happens? They normally give us suggestions. So that is called artificial intelligence. People are not suggesting us. Artificial intelligence is suggesting us. So these are artificial intelligence. They also charge a lot. So now our kids will get to know coding, artificial intelligence, free of cost in government school by trained professionals. They will be learning about design thinking, holistic health, organic living, environmental education, and global citizenship. Everything free of cost. So that everything, as it is said, nothing comes free. But here it is said that these things will come free of cost to you. But here what we are paying is, we are paying by giving our time, by giving our effort. Now, talking about examinations. What is the examination structure now? So talking about examination, now the examination structure is, now kids will be having their assessment in class 3, in class 5, and in class 8. 10 and 12 will be there because those are board. But apart from this, kids will be sitting for their assessment in class 3, in class 5, and in class 8. Now you will ask, why 3, 5, and 8? So just revise that thing when we said 3, 5, 8 for 3, 5, 8, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So we are focusing on learning outcome. So what the kid have learned from pre-primary till class 2, they will be giving in class 3. What that kid have learned from 3 to 5, they will be giving in class 5. What that kid have learned from 5 to 8, that kid will be giving examination in 8. What that kid have learned from 8 to 10, that will be giving examination in 8. What that kid in 10, what that kid learned from 10 to 12, that kid will be giving examination in 12. So here it is stage-wise examination rather than semester-wise examination, so that we can focus on learning outcome rather than on syllabus. Right. Now the assessment, either in board or in primary, any sort of assessment will be based on core concept or conceptual understanding. Now examination won't be what I have memorized. No, examination will be based on the thing what I have understand and what I can implement in my real life. So examination will be on that thing, right? Just imagine, like where we are reaching even in examination. Apart from this, the results. So here I want to give you detailed explanation about the results. First time in the history of education across the globe, India is going to make a result which will be of 34 page. I'm again repeating, first time in the history of education across the globe, not in India, any country is coming out with a report card that will be of 34 pages. So now you will say, sir, what is in 34 pages? So in that 34 pages, actually, there will be assessment, peer-to-peer evaluation, where his colleagues will assess him what he has learned, his teachers will assess him what he has learned, his seniors will assess him what he has learned, he himself will self-assess himself what he has learned, his guardians will assess him what he has learned. So every assessment will be feed into the computer, and then artificial intelligence will create a result out of it, so that we get to know that what is the actual learning outcome of the kid. Just imagine, right? So now, talking about the format and process of assessment, through this what will happen is there will be continuous tracking of learning outcome of each child. So what is happening, suppose there is 34-page report card, so there will be continuous tracking of the report. So continuous tracking of the child's development, because here we are not concentrating how my child did better in mathematics or science. I have to see how my child has developed as a whole. Board exams will be more flexible now. Board exam will also be based on conceptual understanding, or to say on basic essential skills, what I have learned, or to say competency based learning, so that my kids, whatever they are learning, their learning is complete and they can implement that thing into their real life situation. And as I said, artificial intelligence will be creating a report card, and these report cards, I just want to explain it, because if I ask you that, dear respected teachers, if I ask you to give me your class 8, class 6 report card, you won't be able to produce it. I won't be able to produce it to myself itself. I have report card of class 10, class 12, graduation and MA. But now what will happen is that all the report card, all the developments will be in the system itself. So now the kid's progress will be tracked in that way, how he has been developing, so that when he grew up, at least artificial intelligence will predict what career he can move upon his development, what career he can select upon his development. Now the kid is not going to fail in his life, because upon his interest, upon his competency, he has been predicted those things, right? That is also said as automatic thing, but that is very costly. But here the kid is getting it free of cost. Next, moving on to, so now as I said, self-assessment and peer assessment, kids in the report card will be assessing themselves and their peers will also be assessing them. Apart from this, any teacher who wants to become teacher, they need to give examination in competitive examination NTA, that is called National Testing Agency, so that they can take admission in B.Ed college. Now coming into 3-language formula. Now, it is said that any kid who knows multiple language is more intelligent, his brain development is far superior than any other kid. So now what happens is, as I said in the starting, the kid who knows Bhutia, the kid who knows Lepcha, the kid who knows Gurung, Limbu, or who knows Majar, all these kids, don't they have the right to learn, right for education? They have the right for education. The kid who knows Nepali, they have the right to know education. So how? Now every kid will have provision to learn till class 5 in their mother tongue, Matribhasha, in their mother tongue. Whatever tongue is spoken in their home, they will be given education in that tongue, so that he can learn, so that he can understand. If you say that I should enroll my kid into Mandarin school, so obviously my kid is not going to learn anything in Mandarin, because he knows my language. So this is the condition of most of the kids. So now they will be given education in their mother tongue, and this will be till class 5 or maybe upgraded till class 8. As he will move on, as his mental structure will expand for the language, new languages will be introduced one by one. So new languages are getting introduced one by one. so that he can easily acquire those languages, he can easily understand those languages. Now in every school, there will be a fun project called the Languages of India. So what is this Languages of India? We are a country of, as I said, more than 1640 languages, 750 languages, 1640 dialects. So now if you say me, I know hardly 10 or 20 names of the languages. So now what it will happen, kid will learn these Languages of India. They will see that what is the similarity between every language in this fun project. So suppose if I talk about, so there is some similarity, like namaste is in Nepali. In Nepal also people say namaste. In Hindi also people say namaste. Right. So there are some similarity across the globe. Right. There is some difference, but there is some similarity. If I talk about difference, so in Hindi that is said acha. In Nepali that is said ramro. So there is a difference. Right. There is a difference between ramro and acha. But still, there are many words that is different. Like in Hindi, we say bade bhaiya, but in Nepali, we said daju. So there is a difference in that also. So normally what I mean to say that kids should know that what is the single point of similarity between these languages. Once they know this thing, actually they can feel more connected with their country with other languages. Right. Next is that every state will be having provision of selecting their own 3 language. Every state will decide which 3 language they have to select. Right? And then in every school, every kid will be motivated. Now that will be volunteer. Any kid want to learn, they can learn. So what is that? Apart from the 3 language, they can have a chance of learning at least one classical language like Sanskrit. Because if we know Sanskrit, we know our tradition, we know our culture, we know our India. So they will be motivated to learn Sanskrit and other classical language. So once they learn those languages, at least they will be given 2 years of those languages, and that will be taught to them in a fun way, so that they feel more connected with one more language. So this is the beauty of national education policy if we talk about language. Now as it is said that teachers are like oxygen for any education system. Pranavayu. Now, if oxygen is not there into the education system will fall down. So now, what is for the teachers? So for the teachers education, B.Ed program, there are 3 types of B.Ed program. One is 4-year integrated B.Ed program. So suppose anyone who complete class 12th, they can enroll into 4-year integrated B.Ed program. Why it is said that 4-year integrated B.Ed program? Because here he will get duo major. That means here he will get 2 degrees. One is in education, the other in his any subject he wish to select. So that will be 4-year integrated B.Ed. If anyone has completed his graduation, he can opt for 2-year B.Ed. So in the 2-year B.Ed, now the third is anyone who has completed his master's, he can opt for 1-year B.Ed. Now for 4-year integrated B.A. or 2-year B.Ed or 1-year B.Ed, only theoretical knowledge is not enough. I have to also be part of practical knowledge. So I have to go to a local school. I have to teach the students. I have to showcase my skills. On that basis, credits will be given, and on that credit, theoretical plus practical credit, I will be selected as a teacher. Either I am selecting 4-year integrated or 2-year or 1 year. I have to go into the field and teach the students. For that, the government is targeting that all the standalone B.Ed colleges, who are just giving B.Ed courses, now all the B.Ed courses will be moved to multidisciplinary colleges, where different subjects are taught. So multidisciplinary college or universities, the time frame is 2030. So all the B.Ed courses will be shifted to these multidisciplinary colleges or universities. Right? Now, even talking about this 4-year B.Ed program, integrated B.Ed program, so it will be a blended program. So blended program means there will be distance learning also, there will be classroom learning also, there will be digital learning also. So if I have any provision I wish to select, I can go for that. Apart from this, as it is said, that any region, any country is made of its region. Any region is made of its society. Any society is made of its tradition. And any tradition is made of its existence. So any tradition, if its existence dies, the tradition dies, the society dies, the region dies, the country dies. So it is seen that every region has its own traditional music, own traditional art, own traditional cultures. But they are dying. As Sikkim is said, that Sikkim's women are a great weavers. So Sikkim have weaving in their blood. So if those traditions start dying due to lack of support, what will happen? There are two reasons why these traditions are dying one by one. First reason is their own kids, they don't want to join their professions because they feel that these are outdated and I cannot make future in this. And second is they are not getting any support. So now even they have also provision. All those local artists, local people who are into music, local people who are into agriculture, business, sports, carpentry, or any other vocational craft or any other regional craft, if they are into, so what they can do is every big school complex will be having BITES and DITES. Those are vocational training institute. So every complex will be having those institutes. These people can get free of cost 6-month courses into these BITES and DITES. 6-month course, free of cost. So these courses won't be about how you do that. No, because they already are mastered in that in their professions. This course will be how you can take it further to the students. So post this 6-month course, these local artists will be placed in the school as master instructors. So now these master instructors will be training the kids into the vocational training. Now every kid will be feeling proud of his father's profession because they know that my father is a master instructor. Right. So what is happening? We are also respecting our tradition and these people are also getting support. So our tradition is again getting revived. So our country is again getting revived. So this is a beautiful development. Apart from that, all B.Ed programs will be having lot of pedagogies from the entire globe. There will be lot of multi-level teaching and evaluation program. Then teachers will also be trained on how they can teach the kids with disability, how they can identify the kids with special needs, how they can identify the kids with abilities, how they can utilize technology to teach these kids. So entire B.Ed courses will make them a complete package. Will give them all types of weaponaries. Once they get all types of weaponaries, then they will be a brilliant teacher and they can give the brilliant life to these kids. Now, talking about the improving teacher education. So now how is we are planning to improve the teacher education program? So now for the teacher education program, a new and comprehensive national curriculum framework. You must have heard about NCF 2005. I can see here Bhana ma'am, Rukmini ma'am, Dick ma'am, Lalit sir, Chandra ma'am. Thank you very much, respected teachers. Thank you very much. Blessings. So now NCF, National Curriculum Framework 2005, which already we are following. So now we are going to see a new National Curriculum Framework that will be National Curriculum Framework 2021. There will be two frameworks, one for the children's education, one for the teachers' education, so that we get to know what is the learning outcome we can expect, and teachers should know what is expected from me. And every now B.Ed courses will be moved on to multidisciplinary colleges or universities, so that teachers can get duo major, as I said, major in 2 subjects. Now, rather to every teachers, suppose they wish to apply for teachers training program, so they have to sit for NTA exam or National Testing Agency examinations. And National Testing Examination, if they get selected, there are many people who have skill, who could have been better teacher, but due to lack of resources, lack of fund, they cannot become teachers. Now, everyone can become teacher if they have skill. So now if you have a skill, you don't have to worry. If I pass in NTA with high grades, with on merits, so the government will provide me complete scholarship for my 4-year integrated BA. So free of cost, I can become a teacher, but on condition I have that potentiality to become a teacher. Everyone cannot become a teacher, and the one who will become a teacher will really be a teacher from his soul. Apart from this, there will be strict action against the standalone B.Ed colleges, so that these B.Ed colleges cannot manipulate the degrees further. Apart from this, there will be national mission of mentoring, so that all the teachers, all the outstanding teachers who have retired or who are about to retire, there will be a pool created out of it, a database created out of it. They will be called back and they will be training the new teachers. So the people who are outstanding, who have retired, even they can be called in for the services. So just imagine a teacher never dies, a teacher never retires, a teacher is always there, right? Apart from this, if we talk about, so only apart from leaving aside engineering and medical, all the higher courses will be having a single regulatory body called NHERC, or National Higher Education Regulatory Council, so that everything can be done in a right way. Now, teachers recruitment and deployment. So in public and private school, in every stage, either you sit for pre-primary, you sit for primary, you sit for middle, you sit for secondary, you have to appear for TET, teachers eligibility test. That will be a continuous process. So you have to teach for teachers eligibility test. Right. Now, if I sit for teachers eligibility test, that means it normally upgrades me at higher basis. Now, every teacher who will get transfer, his transfer will be transparent, because that will be system generated transfer. So how system generated transfer? Suppose there is a school called A, it has only one teacher, but it has requirement of 3 teachers. And there is a school called B, which has 7 teachers, but it has required of only 5 teachers. So 2 teachers will be moved from here to school A. So this is transparent system. System is transferring them and they can know why they have been transferred. So there won't be any further single teacher school. Right. Now, for teachers recruitment, there will be text-based planning for teacher recruitment. And this text-based will be for complete 20 years. So artificial intelligence will forecast the requirement of teachers in all schools in next 20 years, year-wise year. Because there is a problem that suppose there is a teacher, there are 5 teachers in a school, very next year 2 teachers retired. So now there are 3 teachers. By the time I recruit new teacher, 2 more teachers retired. So now to cater to that, now system will be making a forecast of 20 years, so that by the time any teacher is about to retire, a new deployment can be done in that school. As I said, every teacher have to give demonstration in the local school. So once they give demonstration in the local school, apart from the theoretical knowledge, then only they can get marks, then only they can become teacher. Right. After that, if we are talking about the disabled kids, so here what is saying is that every kid, NEP is saying that every kid is equal. So every teacher have a provision of getting certificate courses. So that is 1-year certification course. So suppose I am multi-subject teacher from 1 to 5. Now I plan to teach only mathematics in class 6 or 7. So what I can do is I can take this 1-year certificate course. Post that, I can move on to, after giving examination, I can move on to that single subject. Or suppose I wish to teach the Divyang kids or specially challenged kids. So I can take this 1-year certificate course and I can teach those kids. So here for every subject, we have certificate courses. So we are not restricted to a single courses. Then every school needs leadership. And leadership means leadership not in term of financial leadership or governing leadership. Leadership in terms of that my school, in terms of education as a whole, in terms of community mobilization, in terms of students mobilization, in terms of atmosphere, in terms of environment. So for this, every teacher have to attend minimum of 50 hours of CPD training. CPD is, what is CPD? So CPD is continuous professional development. So every year, every teacher have to sit for 50 hours CPD test, CPD training, 50 hours CPD training, so that they can learn all latest pedagogy as per selection of their own subjects. So if I wish to take training in mathematics, I can be given CPD on mathematics itself, and it will consist of all the latest pedagogy of mathematics, so that I can keep on upgrading myself year on year, so that I cannot be left behind. Next, talking about no one, as I said, National Education Policy says that no one will be left behind. So now next, we are focusing on socio-economically disadvantaged group, SEDGs. So where are they? We are a country whose finance minister is a woman, Nirmala Sitharaman, whose prime minister is saying, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. In spite of that, majority of people are not sending their kid, their girl child to school. So these girl child are not participating in the economic development. So now for that, there is the inclusion of those kids. There is inclusion of even transgenders also, so that these kids could participate into education, could become backbone of education. So they will also be called into education. Next is socio-cultural identities. So there are people from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, backward classes, minorities, who are actually backward class, scheduled caste, who stay in jungle, forest, who stay in hills. So they will also be called into education, so that they can also contribute into education. Then the people, the kids who have learning disabilities, they will also be called for learning, so that they can, in fact, they can also learn something. Suppose they cannot reach to the school, so school will reach to them through digital media. Then there are socio-economic conditions, people with socio-economic conditions. You must have seen in COVID period that a lot of migratory laborers, they return to their home. Now these migratory laborers, they go with their family in the big metropolitans. Why? They go there so that they can feed bread to their family. But what about their kids? Their kids never get education in the place they migrate. Why? Are they not Indians? They are Indians. They have also the same right of education. So now National Education Policy is saying, in spite of any place I come from, if I have my identity proof of being Indian, if I produce that into any school, I have full right and no one can decline my admission. No one can question me. I can get instantly admission in any school I wish. So just see the beauty. So if I am a migratory labor, I also have the right to send my kid to a good government school. Right? So not only migratory labor, there are also child who are into trafficking. There are also beggars who do begging into metropolitan towns. They are also brought into this education system. Then there are a lot of small villages where the young generation is very bright, but those villages or those places don't have good universities or colleges. Even they will also bring into this domain, and their good colleges will be created. So you can see that there is provision of everyone. Now talking about equity. So if we talk, as I said, equity. So now what type of equity is being given to the kids? First is learning outcome. Now the whole focus will be on learning outcome. I come from any background, any class, focus will be on my learning outcome, what I learned, how I implement it to my real life. For that, special mechanism will be built so that I can come from any background, but I can get an equal opportunity of education as other kids are getting. Then there will be intervention. I mean, I can get education from ECCE till secondary, and I can get all the facilities. There is also fee waiver for me if I wish to study further, so that in spite of any class, in spite of anything, I can get complete education. As I said, there will be counselors in every school, so that these counselors can counsel the kids, students, as the students, their guardians, as well as the teachers. And then additional schools will be made, so that there are many areas where kids don't go to school because the school is 5 to 6 kilometers away from them. So, but now the kids will be provided with the school in the nearby areas, so they can go into the schools. Now, for gender guideline for the female girl child, there are schools called KGBS, like Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, which was up till class 10 now. But now it has been extended to 12. It was in some major town, but now it is getting extended to almost all districts, so that the girl can stay there and get the best of study there. Even every school will be responsible for the safety and right of the girl child. For this, gender inclusion fund is being created, so that we can, with the help of the fund, the girl child can get equal opportunity. There will be bridging of gender gap. So in most cases, it is seen that where there are 4 boys, there are normally 2 girls, but now it will be equal, so that both have the same right. Right? Now moving on forward. Now, what about child with special need? So child with special need, there is mechanism, like there will be a digital intervention where if the kid cannot come into the school will go to them through digital media. Because we want to connect, as it is said in 27th para of NEP, that if every single learned person decides to teach at least one person, the geography of our country will change. So now we wish for 100% literacy in India. We wish for 100% participation in our economy. So for that, even the Divyang kids, the specially challenged kids, they will also be bringing into this thing. Either if they cannot come to school, at least the school will go to them via digital media. Even there will be alternative schools for them. Now, for talking about vocational education, so vocational education will be at all levels. So there will be Lok Vidya. As I said, that local artisans, local craftsmen will be master instructor in the school. So those are called as local Vidya. Now, at least from class 6 till class 8, every kid will be introduced to vocational training. Now, next is that these kids will be having an opportunity to select their career on the behalf of the vocational training they are getting, or they can further go into a detailed study of this vocational training. Now, about assessment, there is a body called Parak. If I talk about Parak is performance assessment, review and analysis of knowledge and holistic development, where we wish that every kid should have 360-degree development, or to say holistic development. Either that is psychomotor development, or that is mental development, or that is physical development, or that is emotional development, or that is socio development, or that is psychological development, or that is spiritual development. So every kid should have this 360-degree development. So with every chapter, we will be transforming them into these development. We will be developing all these areas through different pedagogies. And these kids will be having their assessment. That will be on a random basis. So every school will have random checkup, and that checkup will be of any kid, so that we can see that every kid is getting this 360-degree holistic development. Now, talking about online and digital education, how that is getting introduced. So online and digital inclusion. So in fact, for the Divyang kids, for the specially challenged kids, digital intervention is happening. Digital media in their own language is happening, so that they can easily understand that. Then there is blended learning. Blended learning means now the kids will get blend of information technology and official and offline training. Content creation is happening. Now every school will be having a library. And apart from this, if they don't have library, so if they have any library which is nearby, that will be expanded, right? Then there will be a lot of digital platforms like eDiksha, Swam. They are already there. Even Sri Aurobindo Society have a platform called IP City. So these platforms will be more expanded, so that everyone can get equal equal good material exposure. Right? Now moving forward. So there will be a pilot case study on this thing. Now everything should be having a timeline. So what is the timeline of NEP? So by 2021-22, as it is said that there will be national curriculum framework for teachers education as well as for students education that will come into effect from 2021-22. When we move on to 22-23, so there will be common and well explained guideline for national professional standard for teachers. So every teacher will have professional standards. When we move on to 25-26, so students till grade 3, till class 3, research says that class 3 is the most vital part of any kid's life. If it is expected that in class 3, a kid can write 5 lines, can read 5 lines, can understand 5 lines, and can do sum of 3 numbers. If that kid fails to do that, he struggles throughout his life. So now the target is that every kid in class 3 should have this foundational literacy and numeracy. Every kid could understand, write, and read. This is target of 25-26. Then by 25-26, as I said, that there is a mechanism getting created of school resource sharing. So there are 2 types of mechanism. One is, suppose there are 3 schools in an area of 1 kilometer. So what will happen is they all will be brought into single complex. So in a single complex, there will be pre-primary, there will be primary, there will be secondary. So that, and resources will be shared among them. Either it's human resource or it's normal resource, fixed resource. So that the kids get to know in advance about the primary, how primary school looks, how secondary school looks. This is one part. Second is, suppose there are schools among 5 kilometer area. So in that, every school under 5 kilometer area will be developed into a single cluster. So now in every single cluster, there will be resource sharing. Either it's human resource or it's fixed resource. There will be resource sharing. So that there won't be, everyone will get, no one will be having any issues due to lack of resource. In 25-26, the next target is that at least half of the learners will be exposed to vocational training. Now, when we move on to 29-30, so up till 29-30, every kid, no kid of age 3 will be sitting at home. Every kid from age 3 will be in school now. And every kid from age 3 will be given ECCE facility like annual health checkup, right type of nutrition, and that type of knowledge. Just imagine it. In 29-30, the next is that every B.Ed courses will be moved on to multidisciplinary college or universities. Now, and that multidisciplinary or university will be those universities which are sound, which are very sound in their quality. And by 2040, it is targeting, NEP is targeting that entire policy will be having a review. So after the review, if we find any loophole, it can be changed. So as you find, there are new features which got added. One was ECC, Early Childhood Care and Education. Second was that 100% gross enrollment ratio. I mean, everyone will attend school. Third was that there will be preparatory module. Then there was setting of Bal Bhavan or hostel facilities. National Foundational Literacy and Numeracy Mission is also getting introduced. School infrastructure and resources are also getting expanded so that due to lack of resources, the kids don't fail to attend education as such. Then we were talking about holistic development of the learner. As I said, every kid will get 360-degree development. Then inclusivity, every kid, in spite of their disability, will get that type of facility. Then talking about assessment, now every kid will be assessed on the basis of learning outcome. Then talking about structural development. So structure has changed from 5 + 3 + 3 + 4 structure, where the kids are going to treat it as per their age, right? And then talking about teachers recruitment test, as I said, the teachers will have 3 facilities, 4-year integrated, 2-year and 1-year B.Ed courses, and that teacher can get into multidisciplinary college and universities, where teachers will be given such facilities. And the government role of government department into the entire procedure. So state department is there, which will look after policy making. Directorate of Education will look after operations. SCRT will look after academics. And State School Standard Authority will look after minimum common standard. Then random sampling of the student will be on a regular basis, will be done by social workers, alumni, retired teachers and volunteers. Then Central Advisory Board of Education will be strengthened. Then Ministry of Human Resource Development will be there. So everyone is just planning to implement this NEP into full-fledged. Now talking about IPCT, Innovative Pathshala Curriculum Tool, Sri Aurobindo Society's initiative. So how we are helping in implementation of NEP, how we are preparing you, how we are sensitizing you for this NEP. So as I said that NEP is focusing on experiential learning, holistic learning, integrated learning, learner-centered learning, discussion-based learning, flexible learning, discovery-oriented learning, and enjoyable learning. So all these are pedagogy, part of the pedagogy, which is highly researched topic from across the globe. So IPCT, Innovative Pathshala Curriculum Tool, have the ideas of teachers from across the country. Teachers of Sikkim, teachers of Tripura, teachers of West Bengal, teachers of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. So all these ideas have been designed in such a way that every teacher get their learning as per their latest pedagogy. Right. Even as NEP says that every kid should write, understand, and do sum up till class 3. So even IPCT have new pedagogies, new ways, which is being given by your teachers, through which we can, in fact, we can fulfill these ideas of every student able to write, read, and speak. Then, as I said, that this is 21st century skill, 21st century. And 21st century needs us such skills so that we can survive in 21st century. So IPCT have also introduced for every chapter we have 21st century skills. So how we can infuse 21st century skill in every chapter, we are also training teachers on that thing. So if you wish to take the training, you can, as I said earlier, you can contact your district education officers and you can request them so that they can add you into the teaching group. And what pedagogy, main theology which we are using is Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy is most popularly used across the globe and which teachers are using to prepare a lesson planning. And these lesson planning are basically a way how we are going to approach to the student, how we are going to spend our 40 minutes in the school. So we also are training you on these things, right? Now moving on to our next is that we are also planning to identify model schools from across the states. So that those model schools will be those schools who will stand as an idol for, who will stand as an inspiration for other schools due to their implementation of NEP. Once you implement NEP, that means you are already a model school because NEP means 100% pedagogy, 100% joyful learning. So we are also identifying those schools, and once we identify those schools, we have different provision for that. Now talking about government, so initially government's 4.5% GDP used to go into education. Now government has increased that to 6%. There is extra 1.5% getting into education. So now 6% of our GDP will be getting into education. And next, government is targeting that in next 10 years, 20% of our public expenditure will be into education sector. So just think, more fund into education sector means more development, more resources. If you wish to know more of our new pedagogies, more of our trainings, so we are always there. We are continuously providing you training. We have our videos in IPCT app. You can take the videos from there. And if you need to take our help, we are always there for 24/7. Now, talking about our model school. If you are planning to become a model school, so what we are going to do? If you are a model school, we will take you from local to global. How? Because we are giving you digital footprint. We are giving you a website in the name of your school. So you will be having a website in the name of your school if you are a model school. So in that website, there will be the name of your school. You have your own website ID, name of your principal, photograph of your principal, his experience, name of every teachers in the school, their photograph, their experience, number of courses taught in the school, number of co-curricular activities happening in the school, the photographs, how many teachers are there, how many students enroll in the school, how many students are there. Every detail will be there in the website. So suppose I am in America and I wish to go search any school, I can easily search that school and see the website. So just imagine we are taking you from local till global. So this is the art why you should become model school. Now, to become a model school, there are some problems which we normally face. That are ground reality. So that ground reality we are going to resolve in the name of Auro Scholar. Most of you, I can see here Rukmini ma'am, Bhana ma'am, Dick ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Lalit, thank you very much, sir. So now, Auro Scholar is a program which is in the entire globe, is the first program which gives an opportunity to students from class 1 till class 12 to earn scholarship. So a kid who is 6 years of age can also earn scholarship. Just imagine the beauty of this. Now, what is this Auro Scholar all about? So this Auro Scholar have 4 quiz. Suppose I select 5 subjects. English, Hindi, suppose English, Hindi, Science, Mathematics, any other subject. So suppose I select 4 subjects. So for every subject, I will be having 4 quiz in a month. That means 4 into 4, 16. That means in a month, I will be having 16 quiz. And for every quiz, I can have an opportunity of 2 retakes. So suppose I fail for the first time, I can reappear for the second time and I can win the quiz in the second time. Each quiz will be in MCQ pattern, multiple choice question pattern. And that there will be 10 questions, time will be 10. So suppose the student is of class 1 and he sits for mathematics. The question will be 2 plus 2 is equal to option 1, 3, option 2, 4, option 3, 5, option 4, 6. Suppose the kid selects 3, there will be red line showing, he can move on to next question. Suppose the kid is selecting 4, there will be green line, that is right, and he can enter into the next question. So in this way, you can understand how many questions I attempted, how many questions I did right, and how many questions I did wrong. Any student who scores 80%, even 80%, if I scored 100%, I win 50 rupees for every quiz. If I score 90%, I win 50 rupees for each quiz. If I score even 80%, I win 50 rupees for that quiz. I mean, everyone is going to win a certain amount of money. And that is also why, that is only because you are studying, you are revising. That means every kid has an opportunity of earning 1,000 rupees every month. So now why Auro Scholar? So Auro Scholar, there is a research called Annual Status of Education Report. They says that more than 50% students are unable to solve grade -1 problems. That means if I have 10 kids in my class 5, so among them there will be 5 kids who cannot solve class 4 questions. So what is there for them? So for them, what we have done is we have said, okay, no issues, teachers. If you are ready to do something good, we are there to help you. So our quiz are designed in such a way where every kid will get -3. I mean, if he is in class 5, so 5 - 3, 2. So in first week, he will get question of class 2. Second week, he will get question of class 3. Third week, he will get question of class 4. And fourth week, he will get question of class 5. So every week for every subject, his question will start from class 2 onward. So what will happen? He will keep on revising. So once he keeps on revising, his learning gap will start decreasing. Because there is a big learning gap. Once the kids start moving forward without revising their other thing, then there is a learning gap and then they do drop out. So now there will be no learning gap because he will revise it. And for every revision, he is winning 50 rupees. I am paying him 50 rupees for every revision he is doing. And his guardian, if he is in class 1 and suppose he is winning 100 rupees, his guardians will be motivated. My kid is earning 100 rupees. Wow. What a thing. Okay, they will be more than happy. They will be motivated. They will always motivate their kids to study. And once they motivate their kids to study, that means our work will be easier, because the kids which we will be getting will be 100% perfect. So just think, this is the first time such thing has happened. So I will request you that if you have Auro Scholar program in Sikkim, please do attend. And if Sayandeep Sohum, our district trainer, if he has requested for your participation in Auro Scholarship quiz, please do participate. So apart from this, we are also going in one project that is called Project Inclusion. Now, what is Project Inclusion? Project Inclusion is for the mental child with special needs. Now, child with special need, we have many type of kids in our class. We cannot assure that if we have 5 kids, all 5 kids will be of same mental status. So there are different type of mental status that is said to be NDD, neurodevelopmental disorder. Someone has autistic spectrum, someone have a concentration deficit. These type of deficit problem are there. There are some kids who cannot concentrate on his study. There are some kids who are very naughty. So these all are a sort of defects. So if we identify those defects, those problems, at least we can resolve those problems and we can help these kids to study and concentrate. So for that, we are running a program called Project Inclusion across the country. Till now, we have done this Project Inclusion program in 9 states and 5 union territories. And we have oriented about 20,149 teachers. And we have done psychometric assessment of more than 6,600 students. So we have identified, so in your class, if you can identify who have which problem, it will be easier for you to train them as per their need. So we have so far, teachers have screened about 18,176 students in their class, right? So once they have identified those things, they have recovered that and they have helped those students in completing the studies in a right way. So dear respected teachers, in fact, we have this Project Inclusion app also. If you wish to be a part of this Project Inclusion app, because we are not only teachers, we are not only guru, we are also a doctor for our kids. We are also a father or mother for our kids. We are also a psychologist for our kids. So we have to be prepared like this. We have to do all those activities. So if you wish to be a part of that thing, I would request you to kindly connect with us, and we can always give you whatever you wish to attend for. So in fact, this is for the program so far. Now I will request respected Ashok sir, if he is there, that please, in fact, please motivate our respected officials and teachers with your kind words. Over to you, respected Ashok sir. Ashok sir, are you there, sir? Okay. Thank you very much, respected Karma sir is there. I can see our respected special guest and chief guest Jeevan Prakash sir is there. In fact, I am highly obliged to you, sir. I mean, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, respected officials. Thank you very much, respected teachers, for attending this session. And hope you like the session. So keep blessing us. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.